coming off of a victory over Syracuse in their last outing. That was on the heels of a couple of losses, surprisingly. Louisville coming off of a grueling 5-set reverse sweep at Pitt, in which they fell. We are underway in the regular season finale. Georgia Tech in the blue uniforms, Louisville wearing white at home. And the Cardinals here go to Charity Looper, coming off of a sensational performance in that loss to Pitt last weekend. There's a dig for Elena Scott. Looper another swing. And an equal defensive play on the other end from Pimentel, the libero for Georgia Tech. And the first point of the match goes to the Yellow Jackets. The final touch coming from Aiko Jones of Louisville. There's a look at Bianca Bertolino, 7 aces in that victory against Louisville back in early November. And you see she is nearing a record in terms of aces. Such a prolific output this season.
Well, also notice she has not used her topspin jump serve in her first 2 serves, so that'll be interesting to see how that continues.
Loud cheer from the fans as Louisville is on the board, courtesy of the block from Kara Cressy. Cressy with 3 blocks against Pitt. Here's Aiko Jones playing in her final game here at L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. Been around a long time. A member of the top 10 in terms of career kills in Louisville's program history. But the kill here goes to Georgia Tech with Tamara Otene.
And D'Amico does such a good job of getting square and having multiple options, and that leaves a single block for Otene on the outside.
It's another Brazilian, Paola Pimentel, and it's a service error to give Louisville a point back and tie the game at 2. These 2 teams are the 2 most aggressive serving teams in the ACC. Louisville leading the ACC in aces. Georgia Tech right on their heels, 2nd in the league in aces. So we may well see quite a few service errors today because of that aggression from both sides. That one a bit too much to handle for Elena Scott. Ellie Glock trying to keep it alive as well. And Otene with a very heavy hit. But you do not see what we are about to see very often. Elena Scott just unable to handle the ball, Steph.
Yeah, she kind of got behind it instead of under it, and that's that flat swing from Otene. It doesn't have a lot of topspin on it, so it hits your arms at a different point. And let's look for Scott to make an adjustment as the match goes on. Scott
with over 400 digs this season, had more than 20 against Pitt last time out. Here's a point to Louisville to tie it at 3 once again. And who else? Anna DeBeer coming off of a career-high night against the Pitt Panthers. 29 kills, along with 17 digs for a double-double. Cressy serves for the Cardinals. Otene's had the hot hand early. Looper out of the back row. Well handled by Georgia Tech. And Aiko Jones just has to set it over. Look at Cressy going to the floor, but not quite able to keep the ball up. And it's a point to the Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech is frustrated here that they wanted a double on the contact, but I actually think Kara Cressy did a really good job of not doing too much on the set. It wasn't the cleanest contact, but it didn't change directions. It didn't give her team an advantage, and that's sometimes what the officials are looking for in a double contact.
Otene serves. She's already got 3 kills for Georgia Tech. Former Illinois State player who was highly heralded in the Missouri Valley Conference in her 2nd year in Atlanta. There's an attack error, or is it? It's a point to Georgia Tech.
Attack error overruled by a net violation on Louisville.
And then a service error gives the point back to Louisville. So here's Ellie Glock. Had a career-high 60 assists against Pitt. That's a little more like it from Scott, but it does give the opportunity to Georgia Tech. Louisville able to handle it defensively. And then the point goes to the Yellow Jackets. Bertolino just off speed. And PK had to dive backward to try and keep it alive.
And we've seen a lot of off-speed shots from the Yellow Jackets so far. It seems as though they're taking advantage of the different defenses that the Cardinals are running.
Liv Mogridge serves. And Aiko Jones strikes on the other end. That one off the fingertips of a Georgia Tech defender.
That two ball out of the middle has been so effective for Aiko Jones. She hits a high, flat ball going to the corner, and it's a tough ball to defend.
Aiko Jones with 200 or more kills in 4 of her 5 seasons in red and black. Here's an ace for the Cardinals from Anna DeBeer to tie it at 6. #24th ace of the season for DeBeer. Point to Georgia Tech. Afedo Manyang, the TCU transfer.
That's a good swing, but that's going to be a dig that Ellie Glock wants back. She was right there, but wasn't able to control that swing from Manyang.
Manyang in her first year at Georgia Tech after a long career at TCU. She did battle injury last season. There's an overpass. But Louisville equal to it defensively. PK just hit it over her shoulder almost to score and tie the game once again. And a neck and neck back and forth early opening to this match here in the first set. Just what you wanted to see when two top 15 teams come together. And 2 ACC rivals as well. Once again, Elena Scott goes diving to try and make a defensive play and can't quite come up with it. There you see that vicious top serve from Bertolino. Aiko Jones with the swing. Otene. And now here's a chance for Louisville. They go to Jones on the right side, and Aiko has another kill, her second of the evening.
Great decision from Ellie Glock. She had multiple options here, but went right back to Jones, who had taken a great swing on the possession before and is able to score off the right side.
On the season, Jones hitting .282. And that ball very close. Some of the fans here thought that was an ace. It is not. It is a service error.
You talked about the tough serving and the location, and going for the ace is going to be important. That was a miss of inches there, going for the ace.
Here's Looper.
Great block touch.
And Bertolino out of the back row just couldn't find her aim there.
But again, we see an off-speed shot from the Yellow Jackets, just trying to pick apart the Louisville defense. And they've had some success with that, but I feel like they've scored more of their points so far with the power game. So it'll be interesting how that mix continues for them.
Had a look there at Michelle Collier, the head coach for the Yellow Jackets in her 10th year at the helm. Looking for a third top 10 victory on the season. Would be the first time that Georgia Tech has ever done that if they can pull off the victory on the road tonight. Another point to Louisville on an attack error. Otene this time with the missed swing. And so Charity Looper steps behind the service line. 24 kills and 3 aces for her last weekend. Oh, look at Scott. Tremendous effort. Just what we thought in the open step that we might see. Plays like that on both sides. There's Kara Cressy down the line, past the other libero, Pimentel, to score and give Louisville a 2-point advantage.
Great movement here from Glock after this great hustle play from Scott. She's had a couple of miscues, but that one will bring her back into the match, and Cressy able to finish.
There is some extra juice in the building tonight. Otene once again for Georgia Tech. And once again, the Yellow Jackets targeting Elena Scott early on and having some success, something that you would not have expected.
And you see Otenay with the big high touch and just kind of using her wrist to get a lot of topspin and that ball to drop, which is the opposite of the last kill that we saw where it kind of caught Elena Scott up on the chest. So a lot of different shots coming from the Yellow Jackets right now.
Louisville finding success through their middle blocker, Kara Cressy. She scores once again to restore the 2-point cushion. Cressy with 8 kills and 3 blocks against Pitt. Was the ACC Defensive Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago. And has taken a big step forward this season for the Cardinals as a redshirt sophomore. Here's Briggy Petrenko. Backup setter who's been used mostly in serving situations over the last couple of months. And Otenay with another swing from the left side. And Samara Otenay leading the way with 5 kills, a game high thus far.
And again, Otenay doing a great job of a high contact and just snapping that ball down in front of the defender.
Otenay had 11 kills in the first meeting between these two teams that led Georgia Tech. Overpass, and DeBeer dominates the ball.
Those are the fun ones where you thank your friend. PK did the hard work coming around on the slide, and Otenay has a great dig but just can't quite control it, and DeBeer gets the stat on the stat sheet with the easy play on the overpass.
You see her numbers in the first meeting between these two clubs. Always around a double-double, it seems, for Anna DeBeer. Bertolino with the swing here for Georgia Tech.
Beautiful
the Yellow
set
Jackets
there.
the point.
Beautiful set there from Suarez.
Suarez, the freshman from Brazil. Here's an ace. Mentioned the 2 best serving teams in terms of aces in the ACC. And on the day, that's the first ace for Tech. Another bit of an overpass from Louisville, but they're equal to it. Scott sets for DeBeer. Was it in? It was. And Bertolino with another point for Georgia Tech. Not the prettiest point you'll ever see.
Yeah, missed opportunity in the middle of that play from Pierce to put that ball down on the first overpass, but Georgia Tech lucky that they scored the point.
Liv Mogridge will serve. She missed a lot of time this year, was injured from early October into mid-November. And Georgia Tech is glad to have her back. She'll send us to a timeout on an ace, and the Yellow Jackets up by 2.
Every year as I carve the annual holiday nut bowl, I remember a time before people had it to gather around.
Maurice!
What?
Oh, I'm hilarious.
Sometimes togetherness is as easy as a nut bowl. Sometimes.
Hey, deal lovers.
Coming in.
Here's something new.
Having good taste shouldn't cost you a good deal.
And in this hut, $7 gets you both.
The all-new $7 deal lovers menu at Pizza Hut.
Because it's only a deal if you love it. I'm coming in hot.
The all-new Shark Detect Pro Auto Empty System. Shark's most intelligent cordless yet. Detects hidden dirt and boosts power. Detects edges and doubles suction power. It even empties automatically. Shark Detect Pro. Clean smarter.
Born in the wild. The magic alchemy of woods and spices. Rare. Intoxicating. The soul of Sauvage. Elixir. Dior.
Danny Busboom Kelly, 3 consecutive ACC Coach of the Year awards for her. And she has led this Louisville program into becoming a dominant team at home. That one loss at home was not in this building. It was at the KFC Yum Center. And Michelle Collier on the other side, you see the 22 victories this year, nearing 200 for her career. She's led this program to 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances and is already the second winningest coach in Georgia Tech history, having previously spent time at Jacksonville State, an outstanding player during her career at South Florida, over 2,700 kills, fifth all-time in NCAA Division I volleyball.
And just a super competitive human. And you can see her shaking her head a little bit during this play. What you can't see is that the net cam has come down over by the R1 and they had to fix it. So she, being the super competitive human that she is very frustrated right now that her server is on a run. Not only was there a timeout to ice her server, now there's a situation with the ref cam. So I love getting to see her facial expressions while you're talking about how fantastic of a player she was.
She was named Conference USA's Player of the Decade, which you can understand why with the outstanding numbers she had as a South Florida Bull. Point to Louisville on a service error out of the timeout. And that number, the service errors, will be one to watch. Off the tape. And then off the hands for a Georgia Tech point. Manyong with the swing.
That's a good swing by Manyong. That was a weird play off of serve receive with kind of a one-hand save on the serve off the tape. And she was able to take that and do something with it to score.
Manyong, a versatile player, played both as a right side and a middle in her career. Now Bella D'Amico behind the line. Aiko Jones has been busy in this first set. And she comes through for the Cardinals right here.
And this is just so hard to stop. She goes high over the block to the deep far corner. If you want to talk about some geometry, the court is longer when you go to that deep corner, and she just has such an angle to put that ball in.
Jones 3 for 7 so far. Block with the dig. Nearly a point for Louisville off the block. And it's going to be a violation against Pittsburgh here. Against Georgia Tech.
So it happened really fast, but off that block, I believe we hit a foot, an arm, a couple different things, and the R2 was all over signaling for as he had the best view of the play.
There's another service error, this time from Louisville, their second. Elena Scott.
Number 5, Bianca Bertolino.
Bertolino with that high toss on the top serve spin. Otene. And Looper. And that's in. Charity Looper ties it at 17.
We talked about Aiko Jones' high contact point and the long angle. That's exactly the same thing that Looper does there. Not trying to hit that ball straight down and challenge the block, not trying to go around the block, but just going over at that high, deep angle. And typically as defenders, you don't stand behind your blockers. So that's a spot that's typically undefended on the court.
Camden Schrand, the true freshman, comes into serve for Louisville. And a point here to Georgia Tech. They go to their left side once again. And to Tamara Otene once again. Otene 6 for 12 with a couple of attack errors. Thus the .333 hitting percentage you see. That's just a straight miss from Kara Cressy. And Georgia Tech takes a 2-point lead once again. That's about the biggest lead either team has had. 2 points either way. Mentioned early in the broadcast that Louisville looking for some revenge in this one. That's because they went down to Atlanta in the first week of November and were unable to emerge victorious. Fell behind 2-0, then rolled in the third set to try and get a foothold in the game, but ultimately were not able to prevail. Looper with 15 kills to lead Louisville. And we mentioned the service game for Georgia Tech, one of the big keys to that victory for them, as Bianca Bertolino had 7 aces.
And you've talked about airs and aces tonight a lot for both of these teams. One of the reasons that they serve so tough and they're good serving teams is because they're great passing teams and they play against themselves in practice every day. And if you want to keep that other team off system, you learn how to serve tough. And that has really come into this game, and that's what we see every time these two teams match up, is who's going to win that little advantage in that serve and serve receive game, because they're both so good at both.
Saw there on that graphic as well that the victory on November 3rd was the first for Georgia Tech against Louisville since 2016. It's become a rivalry in recent years, notably that regional final that was played here in Louisville at Freedom Hall a couple of years ago. But it's been one way over the last several seasons, and Georgia Tech trying to change that narrative here in 2023.
And we saw Otene right there, and we saw her stats from the last meeting. She's done a great job tonight of showing us all of her various shots already in set one.
Out of the timeout, Louisville goes to Looper, and Georgia Tech goes to Otene. There's a dig from Scott. It's Looper once again, and that was off hands, and I think it was in as well. Wouldn't have mattered. And Charity Looper halves the deficit. Louisville trying to come back once again and tie the game.
Otene going sharp angle thumb down here, but Scott able to pick it up, and Looper off the block.
Already 7 digs for Elena Scott. Racking the numbers up early on. Couldn't find that one, though. Otene once again. She has been lethal.
That's definitely a battle to keep an eye on tonight, is Elena Scott and Tamara Otene.
Luis Suarez serves here for the Jackets. And she will set it to Otene. And Otene strikes once more. The hot hand stays scalding hot in the first set. And Georgia Tech 4 points away from taking the opening set here against Louisville on the road.
Now, Otene is just so hard to defend. We've talked about her different shots. We've seen her go kind of straight arm, lots of topspin wrist down. We've seen her go thumb away. We've seen her go down the line. We've seen 2 different tips, sharp cross and just over.
They're defiant. They believe this is a top 4 seed team.
Well, and one of the things that really changes that is the match that we are watching right now.
It is the regular season finale. It is the final opportunity for Danny Busboom Kelly or Miss Shelley Collier's team to make an impression, put on a display for the NCAA Tournament Committee. Out of the break, Anna DeBeer for Louisville.
Just a little hole there between Manyang and Mogridge, and DeBeer is able to find that floor.
Anna DeBeer, a model of consistency. 11 double-doubles this season. Georgia Tech goes to Otene, and they're able to get the point on the net violation against Louisville. And the Cardinals starting to look at a first set loss right now. How about the Yellow Jackets coming on the road? Can they finish it off? Challenging serve from Otene. And Louisville well out of sorts defensively, unable to handle it. And that loud traveling contingent from Atlanta making a lot of noise. Tech 2 points away. It's PK for Louisville. Now Manyong for Georgia Tech, set point.
She has done a great job hitting off-system balls and making them look easy. She hasn't gotten a lot of the in-system easy swings tonight. She's gotten the tough swings, but she's hit the right spots.
Certainly has. 4 for 5 for Manyong. Louisville in an uncomfortable and relatively rare position, specifically here at home, to be looking at a set point opportunity for their opponents in the opening set, and it is a first set victory for Georgia Tech. How about that? Looking to win in Louisville of L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. So what was the message from Danny Busboom Kelly during that break? We will see how it plays out on the court as Charity Looper takes aim to start the second set. Here's DeBeer for Louisville, and DeBeer strikes.
I think Louisville just needs to play a little bit cleaner. We saw some ugly touches, especially at the beginning of that first set, and they never felt like they were in rhythm. They had a couple good plays, and then Kara Cressy hit that slide out down the line when she probably could have hit cross. Just some cleanliness of the decision-making.
Mendez strikes for Georgia Tech. Larissa Mendez, the freshman from Fortaleza in Brazil. Had 6 kills in the first meeting between these two teams. Looper for Louisville. Well handled by Bertolino. DeBeer. Off hands for the kill. Mentioned Anna DeBeer's outstanding evening in the loss to Pitt last week with that career high 29 kills. At one point late on in that one, Steph, they set her on 3 consecutive balls. The first 2 were denied, and finally she came through with the kill on the third. Just goes to show how important she is to this offense, especially in important close matches, which is what we seemingly have on our hands here today.
And right on cue, she gets a block. She is the type of player, just like Otene is stepping up to be tonight, that will do the crafty things, do the different shots to find a way to win.
Otene with 10 kills. Make it 345 for her on the season.
And 10 kills when it's 2-2 in the second set is already quite a night for her.
All ACC second team for her last year, led to a preseason nod this year, and that is a lightning hit from Looper to score for Louisville and give the Cardinals a 3-2 advantage. She too had a sensational performance in the loss to Pitt. Pimentel. Bump set to Otene. PK up high. Chance for Otene once again, and once again, she drives it directly at Elena Scott, and Scott can't control it.
I think at some point the Cardinals might have to think about taking a little bit more cross-court from Otene, but we see there that PK got stuck with the offense of the Yellow Jackets.
But Otene cannot continue her personal run. A service error gives the point back to Louisville.
Now serving for Louisville's number 14, Anna DeBeer.
You get the feeling that Louisville's big-name players like DeBeer are going to have to start stepping up and equaling what Otene has been able to do for Georgia Tech. Manyong. She has been effective when she's had her opportunities. Very efficient. Her 5th kill on just 6 swings.
And you just talked about someone stepping up, but I think that's the positive right now for the Yellow Jackets is it's not all Otene. They're playing very well as a team. She's just getting a lot of balls as an outside hitter, and that's her role on this team. But she definitely has a supporting cast right now.
Attack error gives the point to Georgia Tech. Otene has been the volume offensive option. 21 swings for her. But it makes it that much more effective when the second leading scorer, Manyong, has missed just once. She scores here once again, this time off Louisville hands.
And she has been the go-to. This one is more in system. We talked about her picking up a lot of trash earlier. Great swing, single block off the high hands.
And an over-the-head set from Suarez to give her the chance. Here's an error, though, to give a point back to Louisville. Service errors have played a big part so far. That was the 5th of the day for Georgia Tech, and were it not for those service errors, Steph, they may have run away with that first set by more of a margin than they did. Right down the middle, that one was Pierce with the swing. They'll go to her again. The ball a little bit short. Looper diving down. And Pimentel with the dig. Really good defensive volleyball. Aiko Jones down the line, and it was out of play. And a nod of acknowledgement from Jones.
Jones was arguing if that ball was in or out, but they said that it hit the antenna on the swing, on the final swing. But we talked early in the broadcast today about the dig highlights, and this rally was one of them.
2 stellar liberos in this game. 2 stellar defensive teams in this game. And another attack error from Louisville here gives the point to Georgia Tech, and the Yellow Jackets leading early in the second set as they did in the first. Louisville has looked to Aiko Jones a lot so far, and she's having a strong evening. Comes through with her 4th kill, but perhaps Louisville would want a little bit more efficiency from her, hitting just 154. You see the numbers from last Saturday, nearly a double-double. Did that take a touch? It did not. Larissa Mendez with the attack error. And Louisville has tied it at 7. A relative rarity thus far this evening. Georgia Tech hitting .327 as a team. Awkward, but Pimentel gets it over. Here's Looper, and Looper laces it inside the line for the kill.
And this is a rotation for the Yellow Jackets without Otene and Manyong, that the Louisville Cardinals want to make sure that they're taking care of business here in this rotation and continuing to score efficiently.
14 ties. It's been incredibly close. And an ace brings some fans to their feet. And now it's Louisville by 2.
And you've continued to mention the ace versus serve receive game, and I think that's what we're seeing kind of sway towards the Cardinals' time for the Cardinals' side for the first time in this match.
Dig from Aiko Jones. Otene out of the back row, and that was the delicate touch for the kill. She's shown the gamut of attacking options.
She just does a fantastic job of reading what's going on, seeing the court, and finding the open spots.
that vicious serve from Bertolino. Caused Louisville fits in the first meeting. An attack error from Looper on the cross-court shot.
And you've mentioned some of the errors in the aggressive serving from Georgia Tech, but another thing that I think that's done is never allowed the Cardinals to get in any rhythm offensively off of serve receive. So in some ways, you would prefer the missed serves because they still don't give Louisville any rhythm, as opposed to an easy serve that lets the Cardinals kind of work out some of their kinks in this offense. So I really like the strategy from the Yellow Jackets right now to either go for it and keep them off system or miss.
You'll take the good with the bad if you're Georgia Tech in that category. Here's Mendez coming through in the second set.
Back on the court for the Yellow Jackets, number 0.
And Mendez is so fast to the ball. You see that ball not getting very high above the net, and she's able to speed up and hit in the hole.
Mendez at 6'2", has tremendous length. Here's a player with tremendous length on the other side, the 6'6" Kara Cressy. Had a couple of kills in the first set and adds to her total here in set number 2.
Good set from Ellie Glock to kind of force that slide back over her shoulder to Kara Cressy, who takes advantage of the single block.
3 kills today for Cressy. Otene. Yes, again. That time aiming at Ellie Glock. And coming through. 13th kill.
Suarez to serve for the Cardinals. Back on number 19, Elena Scott.
Magnon back in the front row for Georgia Tech in this rotation.
Suarez serves. DeBeer denied by Mogridge. They'll go to her once again. And this time she scores off the hands of Magnon.
We talked about how competitive Coach Collier is. She's right in front of us right now, and she wanted to dig that ball very badly off the touch on the block. Fun to watch her coach.
All even at 12. This one has lived up to the billing thus far. DeBeer sent back by Liv Mogridge. Over 50 blocks for her on the season.
Mogridge is doing a good job of just waiting, being patient, reading Ellie Glock, and getting to the close on Anna DeBeer on the outside, and then celebrating with her team.
Mogridge, an all-ACC freshman team member last year, but the injury this season has kept her from duplicating the kind of numbers she put up a year ago. Here's another point for Georgia Tech, this time from Bertolino, and it's another 2-point advantage. Emotions are high inside L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. And the emotions for the Louisville Cardinals are ones of anxiety right now. Georgia Tech already a set to the good, has a 3-point advantage as we head to a timeout.
Every year as I carve the annual holiday nut bowl, I remember a time before people had it to gather around.
Maurice!
What?
Oh, I'm hilarious.
Sometimes togetherness is as easy as a nut bowl. Sometimes.
The all-new Shark Detect Pro Auto Empty System. Shark's most intelligent cordless yet. Detects hidden dirt and boosts power. Detects edges and doubles suction power. It even empties automatically. Shark Detect Pro. Clean smarter.
Choose Counter when you order ahead in the McDonald's app, and you can skip the line and get your food faster.
Well played. Order ahead in the app to save time.
Georgia Tech already up a set. And they lead the second by 3 points as we take a look at how these two teams stack up. Really hard to separate them in the grand scheme of the ACC. Louisville typically a spot or two higher in terms of how they come out statistically, but Georgia Tech right there, and that makes sense because these are two of the top teams in the league. But on the day, the Yellow Jackets outshining Louisville, particularly in hitting percentage and particularly here in the second set. You see the numbers, 444 to 105. Efficient for the Yellow Jackets, not so much for the Cardinals. There's Anna DeBeer trying to change that story and change that number. Kill number 7 for her.
Look for the Yellow Jackets to go to Mangyang in this rotation.
Instead, they go to Mobridge, and the pass from Suarez just a couple of inches off. And Mobridge, despite being 6'4", unable to reach up with the left hand. Freshman and sophomore not connecting there. But Louisville gives the point back on a service error. Here's Mogridge. And it was in. It's an ace.
And she's done great things on the court tonight, but she's also provided such an energy and a spark for the Yellow Jacket team. You see her celebrating everything when she's on the court, whether it's her ace or a teammate's ace, and she has been spunky here tonight.
Already the third ace for Mogridge today. Here's Looper. Bertolino sent back by PK immediately, but really heads up stuff from Georgia Tech. Chance for Louisville, though. They go to Aiko Jones. And now Looper. Terrific dig from Otene. Glock hitting the floor. Pass just a bit off. What can Louisville do? They go to Aiko Jones. This is quite the rally between these two. Mangyang. And it's going to be a violation against Georgia Tech for going over the line, and a point to Louisville.
You see some discussion here about the call, and what Coach Collier is saying is by the time Mangyang was under the net, the ball was all the way over there. That's what she keeps talking about to the official, because part of it is that you do have to interfere with the play, but it was part of her hitting motion that led her under the net.
And an ace for Louisville to back it up. They'll take the points any way they come. And Elena Scott serves Louisville to within 1 point of Georgia Tech as they try and even up this match. A set apiece and a timeout for the Yellow Jackets. Looking around the country on this important holiday weekend of volleyball. Wisconsin, one of the top teams in the country. They've been dealing with some injuries, Steph, and that has led to them losing a couple of games of late.
I still like them. I still think they're a top team, and they have a game against Nebraska on Friday, actually, to prove it. So it'll be quite an interesting day after Thanksgiving leftovers. I'm ready for all of it.
Would have to assume that your Black Friday will not be spent at the mall. It will be spent watching volleyball, correct?
Best part about online shopping now is that you can multitask. Volleyball on multiple screens and the computer in front of you.
See there at the bottom of that graphic that the ACC and SEC are each looking for their automatic qualifiers. And here are the leagues that join the ACC and SEC on that list in terms of not yet solidifying their champion, not yet punching the automatic ticket to the NCAA tournament.
And the ACC could be an interesting one there. I think Florida State's in no matter what, but that's not necessarily the highest ranked team in the ACC that's going to probably win that conference championship. So there's some interesting dynamics there with how many at-large bids there are to fill with the ranked teams based on the automatic qualifier bids from the conferences.
And in the ACC, that's been part of the conversation this year about getting more at-large bids into the NCAA tournament. It's been a banner year for the ACC in terms of the quality of the volleyball and the success of its teams.
And I think it's deserved this year. We just saw Miami knock off this Georgia Tech team in the last week and have a shot at Pitt tonight.
That's a very dangerous Miami team. Points to Louisville to tie it at 17. And you see the 3-0 run on either side of that timeout.
And we've mentioned multiple times that Louisville can never just seem to get in a rhythm here. And that's what a scoring run can do for you, is help you get that rhythm back.
Does Georgia Tech have an answer? They do. From Bianca Bertolino, a native of Argentina, has represented her nation in the World Championships in her career, having a strong day thus far with that hitting percentage up over 300. Louisville goes to Cressy, and that ball just hung up on the tape for a long moment before falling down for the Louisville point and the Cressy kill.
And one of the first times we've seen Louisville be able to run middle out of serve receive with a quality pass from Anna DeBeer.
A hugely significant juncture in this match right now. 7 points away from either a 2-set lead for Georgia Tech or a 1-1 match heading into the third. Mendez on the left was almost coming down when she made contact with that ball, but is able to find a way to score.
She's so long. She's not really a leaper like some of the other players on the court out here, but she contacts that ball high and has some different angles.
Overpass and a dunk for Otene. One of the easier kills she will find, and it is her 14th already.
They're challenging that Otene was in the net on this overpass. Live, when I was watching it, I thought that it was the ball, but the Cardinal crew seemed pretty adamant about it. So,
and just to add to the point of the significance of this moment over the course of this match, as you point out, Steph, Danny Busboom-Kelly goes to the green card to try and deny Georgia Tech this kill. Really hard to see if Otene was in the net at all there.
It was a pretty quick replay, and I think it was the ball in the net. Yes.
So the call is confirmed. The point remains with the Yellow Jackets. And Danny Busboom-Kelly has lost her first of 2 challenges. And Michelle Collier might be as close as you'll see a smile on her face tonight. Tech by 2. Very challenging serve, but Louisville able to control it and get it up to Looper for the swing. Otene. DeBeer. It's Otene again, this time with the offhand. Here's Cressy. Otene off the head of Looper. It'll stay alive. Again. Who does Louisville turn to? It's Looper. Georgia Tech continues to feed Otene. That time denied. Bertolino out of the back row. Looper. And that's out. It's a point to Georgia Tech on the attack error. And a Louisville timeout on the heels of that extended rally that just resulted in a miss from Charity Looper.
And both teams did a fantastic job in that rally of staying alive, putting the ball in places that made it tough on the other offense.
Georgia Tech, the senior transfer from Illinois State, playing in her second year with the Yellow Jackets, hails from Auckland, New Zealand. And back home it is close to noon Thursday, but I would imagine her friends and family back in New Zealand are enjoying what they're seeing right now. Otene with 14 kills, hitting .387.
She's been so dynamic. I don't think we've seen the same shot twice. And then she's also had defensive plays in the back row at the biggest moments.
She's had big swings. She's had the lighter swings. And Louisville really struggling to contain Otene offensively. And when it's not been kills, it's been aces. She's got one ace to go along with those 14 kills. 7 digs as well. Otene nearing a double-double.
And I think the best part about it for the Yellow Jackets is she hasn't really had to put the team on her back while everyone else is struggling and she's carrying the whole load. She's just been the leader of the way of having a great night.
Here she is. Louisville says it was not touched, it was not. And a point to Louisville on what has been a rare attacking error for Otene, despite a high volume of swings. That was her 32nd.
But I would set her 2 right now. I think it's a great decision.
Back to, beg your pardon, point to Georgia Tech to make their lead 3. As Deandra Pierce, the junior from Austin, Texas, and the transfer from UT, is able to score. Louisville needs a point. They first went to Cressy, then they go to DeBeer. Bertolino hitting the deck with the dig. Cressy, the pass was a bit off. Otene does it again. Kill number 15 in just the second set for Tamara Otene, and she is carrying this Georgia Tech team to within 2 points of a commanding 2-set lead over number 7 Louisville on the road, a place where the Yellow Jackets have never won before.
And we saw in this rally, it starts with that defensive effort we talked about early. Bertolino is able to get the pancake under this ball. And the Yellow Jackets have done such a good job of turning hustle plays and bad balls into real quality swings, like we see there from Otene, that end in kills. They have 78 swings tonight compared to Louisville's 66. And a lot of that is credit to their defense and their ability to put themselves in position to be a hitter. We talked early in the match about Magnan getting a lot of garbage balls outside, but turning them into quality swings. And that is really working tonight for Georgia Tech's offense.
Otene, previously in her career, was an All-American honorable mention when she was playing in the Missouri Valley Conference for Illinois State. And in her second year with Georgia Tech, she becomes the first Yellow Jacket in a couple of seasons to have a 300-300 year.
And Brambilia was some big shoes to fill. That's a player that Otene wants to be right behind at Georgia Tech.
And she is well over halfway to a season and potentially a career high in terms of kills this afternoon. Here's DeBeer for Louisville, trying to stem the tide and succeeding. DeBeer leading Louisville with 8 kills.
And you see Louisville going with 3 subs here. They are putting everything behind this serve of Brigitte Petrenko to try to get this game tied up.
Petrenko on the season with 26 aces, a positive ace-to-error ratio. Mendez denied, and it's a block for Louisville. And it's Anna DeBeer that was involved.
And we talk about Anna DeBeer finding a way to step up in the big games. Out of all of her strengths as a volleyball player, I would say blocking is probably last on her list. As a great defender, great serve receiver, but she finds a way in the moment when needed.
Just the 3rd solo block of the season for Anna DeBeer, and you see the deadly seriousness on her face, the way she is approaching this second set. Louisville still trailing but they have momentum as we have another timeout. Here's a look at the October 28th release of the top 10 from the NCAA committee. A little sneak peek, sneak preview to what may be coming on Sunday. What do you make of what this top 10 looks like, Steph, to what we might see in a couple of days?
I think the most interesting thing here is the since column. Look at how many good matches there have been and how many of those top 10s have taken losses in the month of November. That makes the committee's job really hard. And what you don't see on this graphic is that next group of 5 that includes Georgia Tech, who's looking to add another loss to that top 10 and another win in their column.
Might be a win that might propel them into that top 10 if they're able to hang on. Still a lot of volleyball, it feels like, going to be played this evening here at L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. Louisville forcing the Georgia Tech timeout. Can they keep momentum and forge a comeback trail in this set? And out of the break, Coach Collier for Georgia Tech is challenging something. Challenging whether or not there was a net violation on the last point.
Interesting here from Coach Collier. I'm not sure if she actually thinks there was a net violation or she just wants to kind of prolong this timeout. As we talked about the server getting iced earlier when the camera fell down, same thing. We just watched Louisville put in 3 subs and really put all their eggs behind Brittany Petrenko at the service line right now. So the possibility of icing the server a little bit here would be a good thing to bank on.
So this was the Anna DeBeer block. Just looking to see if perhaps the net moves or quivers. Hard to tell from what we've seen so far. Maybe a leg comes in. And a relatively quick review as well. And the call remains a Louisville block. In fact, it is confirmed. So both sides have lost the challenge so far.
And I do think we saw the net move a little bit there, but in real time, if we can remember back to there, it was a big swing and a big block, which also just creates a little bit of wind speed.
And after that extended break, Georgia Tech goes right back to Otene to restore the 3-point cushion and put the Yellow Jackets on the precipice of a 2-set lead on the road.
And Otene is so dynamic. That's the first time we've seen her come inside on that 32 ball. And what a better time to use that than when they need it for getting to set point.
Suarez to serve. Fans making noise, trying to keep this set alive for the team in white. They go to PK, does Louisville. And it's a point to the Cardinals to keep this set going. PK in the first meeting between these two had a terrific day with 13 kills. Looking to pick up where she left off against the Yellow Jackets. Just her second today.
And Otene on the right side out of this serve receive.
It is Glock to serve, and it's Otene who hits the deck, and it's an ace. Ellie Glock forced Otene to go sprawling, and Louisville pulls within 1.
Quality serve from Ellie Glock. Not only did it end up being an ace, but had it not been an ace, it would have taken Otene out of attacking.
Another challenging serve from Glock, but Pimentel equal to it. Chance for Louisville, though. They go to Aiko Jones. Pimentel the dig. And Suarez will have to set it over. It's Jones again. And it's 24-24. Louisville has tied it in set 2.
Fantastic swings from Aiko Jones and great decisions from Ellie Glock. I think the Yellow Jackets thought that ball was going outside to DeBeer, rightfully so, but Aiko Jones is able to finish off the right side. Look for this serve again from Glock to go to Otene.
Crowd rises to its feet. And the Louisville bench immediately erupts with a joyous noise. It's a violation against Georgia Tech. And Louisville now on set point. They've come from behind. They trailed it by 3 just a moment ago. And Collier full of argument right now.
So what happened here is they switched up their serve receive to move Otene over to the left, but they didn't do it correctly. And the setter ended up being out of rotation.
So now Louisville can even match a set apiece right now. Here's Otene. And DeBeer. Anna DeBeer pulls Louisville level, a set apiece in a set that looks... They're already a point ahead. Entering this third set, Claudio Pinheiro, the man that was shown the red card for his protest at the end of the second.
The unofficial protest, because protest could be an official word, but his was an argument.
And so after the first point of the third set, Louisville has a 2-point lead, and they turn to Anna DeBeer to give them that 2-point lead. And now the question becomes, in terms of the emotions of the game, the momentum of the game, everything right now seemingly behind Louisville, you add the red card to it. Can Georgia Tech respond?
And this Georgia Tech team is fiery, so you're right. It could go either way. We've seen them in the loss to Miami 3-0, just never really being able to find the fire for the day. And then you see situations where they just come out and they are fighters just behind the swing of Otene.
And if they needed someone to step up and say, we're not going anywhere, it's the player who's not gone anywhere 2 sets plus into this one, Tamara Otene. Her 17th kill. An overpass. And Mogridge able to take advantage and even the score at 2 apiece. Here's Anna DeBeer. Make it 11 kills for Anna. And after Otene laid down the challenge early on in this match, Anna DeBeer, her opposite number in terms of leading the team in kills, is starting to equal her. 11 for 18 DeBeer, hitting .556. Looper getting low for the dig. Otene. It's going to be DeBeer. Kept alive by Jones. Quick reaction. DeBeer again. Denied again. And then Glock ultimately couldn't get to the floor quick enough. And it's a point to Georgia Tech through Mendez.
And a little bit of a miscommunication there from the Cardinals on that cover ball. That's not a ball you typically want your setter to touch. However, the Louisville Cardinals do a great job running offense through Elena Scott. So on the Cardinals side, Ellie Glock has free reign to dig that first ball when necessary.
Iko Jones right down the middle. When it's not been Anna DeBeer, often today it has been Iko Jones. Kill number 6 for her. Oh. Otene let it go past her shoulder, and it was perfectly placed by Anna DeBeer in the back corner for an ace. And you see these two highly effective serving teams dueling in the service game once again. There's a block. Haven't had a bunch of those today. It's PK along with Iko Jones.
And we should probably note that it is getting quite loud in here. However, that is not going to throw the Yellow Jackets off, as their home arena is one of the loudest in the ACC.
And Iko Jones raises that noise level once again. And Louisville has extended the lead to 4. They've come out flying after the intermission.
Iko is just able to hang and finish on that block.
Mogridge has an answer for Georgia Tech. the North Carolina transfer.
Now serving for the Yellow Jackets, number 9, Tamara Oten.
It's Otene to serve. Here's Charity Looper. Suarez was tripped up by Mogridge. An awkward play, and the whistle goes to protect her. And a good hand from the fans, understandably. And Suarez does appear to be okay. But anytime a player hits the deck when players on the other side of the net are already leaping, it's always a bit scary.
She also tried so hard not to put her hand or her foot down on the other side of the net and ended up taking the brunt of the landing with her head. She was trying to balance that line. But also good display of sportsmanship on both sides.
So we'll continue on with Louisville a 4-point advantage, and Elena Scott serves. A cross-court set to Otene. Well dug by Glock. Pimentel hitting the deck. Mogridge does the job.
Suarez is doing a great job of using her middle early in this third set. I would guess that's a point that Georgia Tech made during the halftime break, was that Otene is playing awesome. Manyang is playing awesome. But if we can get some attacks from the middle, that is going to help open them up even more on those pins.
Here's Kara Cressy for Louisville. It's one of those questions of, if you're Louisville, do you just let Otene have her kills and try and shut down everyone else? Aiko Jones. There's no shutting her down today. Her 7th kill on her 19th swing to go along with 3 blocks and 4 digs. Filling the stat sheet, Aiko Jones, in her final game in this arena.
And we talked about Louisville not doing a good job early of finding swings on kind of broken and bad plays, but they have done a much better job of that here in the third set. And you see one there, Aiko Jones falling backwards, not necessarily in the best position to swing, but she made something out of nothing.
So Dan Meske there, the assistant coach for the Cardinals. An overhead set from Suarez to Manyang. Well handled by Scott. Out of the back row is De Beer. It took a touch off the tape, but then landed kindly inside the line. And Louisville has a 5-point cushion. And a double-double for Anna De Beer. There's Cressy. And Louisville gathering control in set 3. Forces a timeout from Georgia Tech. We will take it as well.
Yum. Chili cheese. Chili cheese dip. Yum. Get that yum. Hormel chili. Pour on.
The all-new Shark Detect Pro Auto Empty System. Shark's most intelligent cordless yet. Detects hidden dirt and boosts power. Detects edges and doubles suction power. It even empties automatically. Shark Detect Pro. Clean smarter.
Hey, deal lovers.
Coming in.
Here's something new.
Having good taste shouldn't cost you a good deal.
And in this hut, $7 gets you both.
The all-new $7 deal lovers menu at Pizza Hut.
Because it's only a deal
If you love it, I'm coming in hot.
In the wilderness, fearless and human, sauvage, elixir, Dior.
Highly entertaining evening of volleyball here at L&N Federal Credit Union Arena, and it took a turn. The emotions starting to bubble over in this situation at the end of the second set, Steph.
And we'll see Otene shifted over here to the left, and she's outside Montanog and Modridge there, and she was actually in two. So she is overlapping in the front row there, and then there was some heated conversations between the officials and the Georgia Tech coaches.
Claudio Pinheiro, the man in the blue there that was in the face of the official, shown a red card to start the third set, gave Louisville a 3-point. And Louisville has not much looked back in this set. Aiko Jones does well, and then Charity Looper does well also to score from the left side. Looper a bit quiet, just her 5th kill on her 28th swing, but she's got that hitting percentage headed back in the right direction now. And then a service error from Aiko Jones. That is the tightrope you walk.
And we talked about the good and the bad of those service errors, especially in this match. The one thing it does is it doesn't give the chance for the other offense to be in rhythm. So if Louisville can side out right here, then it's not a bad service error. If they let Georgia Tech get some rhythm and give them the ball, then it counts.
Ella D'Amico serves. Louisville goes to Aiko Jones. And it's a point to Louisville. Aiko having herself a fine night so far.
And I think you made a great point earlier when the big decision in this match is going to be who steps up around our stars of De Beer and Otene on each side of the net.
Good chance for Louisville. They go to Looper. Georgia Tech has to get it to Mendez, and somehow she's able to score. Georgia Tech was out of sorts. Just looked like they wanted to get the ball over and keep the point alive. And somehow Mendez able to just get it down in front of the extension of Charity Looper.
Such a perfect example, though, of Georgia Tech making something out of nothing.
There's De Beer for Louisville. Anna De Beer has been exceedingly efficient. 13 kills on 23 swings, a .478 hitting percentage, and that is a game high.
And Louisville choosing not to use the double sub of Briggy Petrenko and Reese Robbins in this rotation, instead go to CC Rush as a serving sub.
An overpass. PK tried to pounce. Bertolino went to the floor. Otene, Georgia Tech looked like they were claiming it was touched. The point goes to Louisville, and Collier turned to the bench, thought about grabbing that green card, but will not.
Knowing that she's already lost one challenge and the point that this is in this game, I think it was a good save from her.
One off the hands of PK into the chest of Anna De Beer. Not much that Anna could do about it. And it's a kill for Georgia Tech.
That's one of the things that makes this Yellow Jacket offense so great, is that at any point during that rally, D'Amico had 4 options, sometimes 5 to set, and that makes them deadly.
Paola Pimentel. And then Otene with a block. Adds to her stellar output tonight. First block, along with 17 kills and 8 digs for Otene.
And that was a single block finish.
Just the 6th solo block of her season. Point to Louisville on the service error from Georgia Tech. And this 7-point gap has been there for quite a while now in this set. We saw Louisville erase a 3-point gap at the end of the second to come from behind and take it. Georgia Tech would need to exceed that if they want to regain their set lead. They're able to get a point here from Mendez.
And she has just been such a steady force from the right side today, and a couple of swings off the left. Her stat sheet is not phenomenal, but she's been very timely in her kills.
Had 6 kills in the first meeting. Closing in on that mark once again here in the second meeting between these two. Jones took something off that one. Otene does not. Hammers the ball for yet another kill.
Fantastic set there from Suarez. It looked like she was going to go to the middle as she was hanging, and that delayed PK just to step on that block to open the hole for Otene.
Just a miss hit there from Anna DeBeer. Third attack error for her on the day.
And you see again Louisville struggling a little bit to find rhythm in serve receive. Look for them going to Aiko Jones on that 2-ball on a good pass here.
Crowd sensing that momentum might be swinging in favor of Georgia Tech, making some noise. It's Aiko Jones out of the middle. Otene on the left just trying to slam the ball straight down and did so into her side of the net.
And that's one thing you don't want to see as a coach. That wasn't a great sweat set from Suarez. It didn't come off of her hands well. But what you tell your hitter to do is better the ball. And instead, Otene was kind of caught off guard and made it worse.
That was touched by Louisville fingertips, and it's another kill for Tamara Otene. Initially a challenging serve from Anna DeBeer, but Georgia Tech able to get it to Otene, and she does what she's been doing all day. Can she keep doing it and pull Georgia Tech back in this set? She's got the dig here. Pimentel, after it went past the fingertips of Mogridge, has to get it over. Here's PK to end that point in Louisville's favor.
PK does a great job of being up quick. One thing that we've seen here from the Louisville Cardinals in the third set is the middle staying in front of the setter more instead of running their usual slides.
Saw the 60 assists for Glock last weekend against Pitt. She's halfway there with 31 today. Manyong. Not heard from her in this set until now. She continues to be efficient. 7 kills on now 13 swings. Off the tape, Cressy reacts nicely. And Jones took a lot off that ball, but hit it right into the middle of a crowd of blue jerseys and scores again. A veteran point for the veteran Aiko Jones.
And all about timing there. When you're hitting from as far off the net as Aiko Jones was, it was more like a back row attack. So by the time that ball crossed the net on her off-speed ball, the block had already landed.
And it goes back to Tech on the service error. 12 combined service errors, as you see there. And a bit of frustration. Not often you see frustration on the face of Aiko Jones. Normally a very positive person on the court. Here's Looper.
We've talked about this being one of the tougher rotations for Georgia Tech with Otene in the back row and Manyong on the bench.
Bertolino, opportunity for Louisville. They turn to DeBeer, and DeBeer turns it down. The ball, that is, to make it a 6-point lead for Louisville and to force Georgia Tech into another timeout. Anna DeBeer's 14th kill on the evening pulls Louisville to within 4 of a third set victory.
And one of my favorite things about Anna DeBeer is her ability to step up at the right moment and in all different ways. She's always carrying a serve-receive load for this team, but she does not always have 10 and 20 kill nights. She lets other people play on the court and do their job. If she can take a night and relax, great. But if she needs to step up and hammer a few kills through that block, she is willing to put in the work.
It's not just the statistics that make Anna DeBeer one of this team's leaders. It's her attitude. It's her competitive spirit on display almost every night when she takes the floor. And she not only is leading in those
and she is in what we will call postseason form. You see her numbers there from Saturday at Pitt.
Kills per set. Has had a few games that she didn't quite hit that double-figure mark. One of them against Georgia Tech early in the month. But here at home, is making up for that in a big way and has been a big part of Louisville's comeback story today. Lost the first set, looked for the world rather, that they were going to lose that second set as well. But DeBeer has buoyed this Louisville team, and now they're on the precipice of a 2-1 set lead. If they can finish this one off, not quite yet, as Looper hits it into the net.
And those are the plays where Louisville has struggled tonight. On those sloppy plays, on the messy plays, we saw Aiko Jones setting from very deep in one. That's not how Louisville draws it up, but they have to be cleaner at finding ways to take quality swings in those situations.
Pimentel. And Bertolino just has to get it over. Still challenging for Looper. Here's Aiko Jones. It's a joust. Now Otene scores off the block.
And the example was right in the middle of that play of what we've been harping on. We saw Otene chase a ball into the bleachers, but Bertolino was still able to take a swing that challenged Looper's defense, as you said, and that was the key to switching the momentum in that rally to the Georgia Tech side.
You see Bianca Bertolino, one of the best seasons in the country. Point to Louisville. Georgia Tech scrambling defensively. And the credit on the kill goes to DeBeer, number 15 for her. Otene with 20 to lead Georgia Tech. DeBeer with 15, the only two players in double figures. Otene, Aiden Bartlett off the bench with a dig. But Ellie Glock went into the Georgia Tech side of things to try and keep that alive. And it's going to be a point to the Yellow Jackets.
So internationally, when court space is a little bit bigger in every facility, you are allowed to pursue the ball past the plane of the net if you are outside the antenna and bring it back to your team for another contact. But in college, you are not. So Ellie crossed the line outside of the net.
Here's DeBeer with an off-speed ball to score and give Louisville the chance to be 2 points away. And now the attention uncomfortably falls on Claudio Pinheiro. He was shown the red card at the end of the second set. Gave Louisville a free point to start this third set.
And I think it was not only that point, I think he was a little bit right at how hard he fought that point, because I think that point was the turning point. And we saw back on the replay, the official made the correct call, but also the frustration from coach was warranted, because that was a mental error that was a turning point in a big set, in a big match.
Can Georgia Tech erase that mental error? They cannot. Georgia Tech has never won in Louisville against the Cardinals.
Georgia Tech started in a little bit of a different rotation this set. You'll see Bertolino is actually in left front, where she has started off serving or back row in a couple of the earlier sets. So interesting if they're looking for certain matchups during this set.
Liv Mogridge with the point, putting together a nice evening. And Ellie Glock just wins the one-on-one battle with Manyang. A rare kill for Louisville's setter.
I think if you read Anna DeBeer's lips, she said, you got it past her elbows, which is kind of funny because Ellie Glock was playing a little bit lower than Manyang was on that block. But she won it.
Manyang at 6'3", Glock at 6 foot, and perhaps that deficit favored Glock in this instance. Here's DeBeer, sent back by Pierce. PK. A meeting at the net. Ends up with a big swing from Looper, and that's in. Or it is out, I beg your pardon.
I think it hit off of his shoe, actually, and he had great position out of the court, so call that ball out.
Indeed it was. So Georgia Tech with the lead right now. And Charity Looper continuing to not have her most efficient night. 6 kills on 32 swings, a negative hitting percentage right now. But Louisville has plenty of depth, plenty of talent across the board. Dunk here for Georgia Tech.
And a rare bad second ball from Elena Scott. Just a little bit too tight for Anna DeBeer. Wanted to set her up for an opportunity to hit off the block, so that ball has to be tight to the net, but that one just went a little too far.
Here's Aiko Jones, and that ball was also beyond the line. Another attack error for Louisville, and Georgia Tech has a 3-point cushion now.
And the last 3 hitting errors that we've seen from Louisville have all been on bad balls. We've harped on that point a little bit so far tonight, but Louisville has to do a better job of taking care of the ball when they're off system.
Momentum is on the side of the Yellow Jackets in a big way right now. Pierce with the block.
And great inside hand from Pierce there to take away the sharp cross.
And again, there is a sizable traveling group of Georgia Tech fans, and they are the ones making the noise right now. A huge run for the Yellow Jackets to open the 4th, and they've got a 5-point lead. It's a Louisville timeout.
Yum. Chili cheese. Chili cheese dip. Yum. Get that yum. Hormel chili. Pour on.
So, Mrs. Ramos, what does your son do?
He says he sells clouds. He works in a cloud company and sells clouds to other companies that want clouds.
So does he make these clouds?
No, someone else makes them. He sells them.
Have you ever seen these clouds?
No, he says they're invisible. Maybe I shouldn't have let him play so many video games.
Parents don't get B2B. LinkedIn does. And helping marketers reach over 70 million decision makers makes LinkedIn the place to be to be.
Shelves. Shelves that know what taste buds want. Shelves smart enough to see, sense, react, restock. So Caramel Swirl is always there for the taking.
High energy and high emotions in this top 15 regular season finale between Georgia Tech and Louisville. And with those emotions and with that energy, momentum has seesawed back and forth. Right now, it is behind the Yellow Jackets in a big way. You see a gigantic disparity in the hitting percentages this set. And it's a 5-0 run for Georgia Tech. There's Anna DeBeer out of the timeout to try and seize that momentum back for the Cardinals.
And there's definitely a chess match going on here. We saw Georgia Tech start in a different rotation, some different matchups, but a lot of that run was self-inflicted by Louisville.
Annie Busboom Kelly, a bit nervously watching her team, I'll say, from her position on the Louisville bench. That was down the line, but on the correct side of it from Georgia Tech's perspective, and Louisville looking around a bit confused. You see the Louisville players looking to the bench for either support or perhaps an explanation.
They called in that violation, and I'm kind of with Danny Busboom Kelly. I thought I saw it too. The players said that they didn't touch it, which is interesting. But again, same decision Michelle Collier had to make a little bit earlier. I think it's not a good point in the match to use your second challenge.
Scott did really well there, but PK scrambling over to keep it alive, couldn't do it. And it's another point to Georgia Tech, and the Yellow Jackets really, truly have control of this set right now.
And Georgia Tech has a chance to run away with it here behind the serve of Bertolino.
Does not yet have an ace today, and still does not. In fact, it's a service error.
Now serving for your Cardinals, number 14, Anna DeBeer.
And Louisville with a lot of work to do right now has Anna DeBeer behind the service line. And DeBeer couldn't make the play defensively on the swing from Mendez. The freshman with 7 kills.
Love that swing from Mendez, that high, deep corner there. We talked about her not being the leaper, but just touching that ball at the high contact to the deep corner.
One of a number of Brazilians on this team, playing for a Brazilian head coach. Point to Louisville.
Bertolino with some great effort there to try to get that second contact. She had already hit the ground and was literally crawling to try to make the contact for that second ball.
And Louisville trying to crawl back in this set. Trying to take a note from that young man on how to crawl back into a set as he gets a hand from the crowd. It's a busy job to be the towel kid on a day like today. A lot of players hitting the floor. What else would you expect between these two teams? Here's Mendez. And the noise level rises. L&N Arena trying to pull this team back, the Louisville Cardinals. And the blockers did at that time, Steph.
I agree. The first time we've seen big blocks really from both sides, and the rally ended with a block.
On the stat sheet, just 9 blocks between these two teams. There was a block that was ultimately slammed over by Liv Mogridge. Fell kindly to her, and she took full advantage.
Part of the lack of blocking on the stat sheet, too, is credit to both of these defenses. As we said, there's not a lack of hustle, so both teams are doing a great job covering their hitters, and even when the ball is blocked back to their side, it doesn't go down for a point.
We talked about the statistical look between these two teams. You couldn't really separate them. Same story in terms of blocks. Georgia Tech near the bottom of the ACC in the blocking category. Louisville right in the middle of the pack. Georgia Tech with a 6-point lead right now. Trying to even the match at 2 sets apiece. Suarez serves. Looper leaps and lines one up nicely for the kill. And Michelle Collier comes off the bench with that second challenge rather quickly. Didn't like the call on the placement of that ball. And we've talked about both coaches being a little hesitant to go to the challenge. There was no hesitation there from Collier.
I think the good thing for Georgia Tech is you do, if it goes 5, you do get another challenge. And so she's not in quite as risky of a situation. I think the key here is going to have to be what she saw and what the bench saw, because it's going to be hard to take advice from Bertolino when that ball is behind her.
This will be a perhaps decisive look.
I think that ball looks like it gets the front end of the white line.
We've had a couple of quick reviews on challenges so far today. I think this one will be a more extended look.
It's just a little hard with the frames and the frames per second of the cameras. You really have to kind of put together a story with different angles of when that ball's on the way back up after the bounce.
And it is a correct challenge. The call overturned a sliver of red paint between the ball and the line, erases a charity looper kill, and adds to the Georgia Tech lead. Aiko Jones, not once but twice. But it's going to be a point to Georgia Tech. Big celebrations from Suarez. The emotions building and building and building over the course of this match. And Danny Busboom-Kelly off the bench in a hurry to call timeout.
When you dig 2 Aiko Jones balls back-to-back, you deserve a hug.
This is the final weekend of the regular season in college volleyball. The regular season finale for each of the 2 clubs we are watching this evening, and that is all in anticipation of the NCAA selection show coming up on Sunday evening. That will air on ESPN, and really just about the entire NCAA tournament is available for you to watch somewhere, whether it's ESPN Plus or on linear television, all leading up to the NCAA title game, which will be on ABC this year. It's a theme we've talked about all year long, Steph. But there is more television coverage of college volleyball. This is going to be the first NCAA title game to air on ABC.
And it's fantastic. It is. It's just a testament to the growth of the game. We've had record crowds set at tons of Division I arenas this year. We've had record viewership on ESPN, on linear TV, sometimes tied with the NFL, sometimes standalone. They've just done great things for the sport and growing the game. And I think this year is set up to be one of the most fun NCAA tournaments we've seen in a few years.
And the Louisville Cardinals trying to hang another banner in that corner of L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. 3 straight trips to the big dance for Georgia Tech. Collier surely on her way to a 4th straight. They went to the regional final back in 2021 and were denied a trip to the national semifinals by this Louisville program. And we talked about this, the final opportunity for each of these teams to bolster that NCAA tournament resume, and both are trying to seize that opportunity with both hands. It's been a tremendous evening of volleyball. A point to Louisville here. Aiko Jones was denied before the timeout. She's not denied this time. Scores off of hands.
And we've alluded to it, but maybe haven't explained it well for some of the people that aren't familiar with the volleyball NCAA tournament. Those top 4 teams in that bracket get the ability to host the 3rd and 4th round, which is different from the neutral host that we see during the basketball NCAA tournament.
Point to Louisville on a violation from Georgia Tech. How does Louisville reverse what's happening right now in this set, Steph? They're trying to just grab little bits of momentum where they can. Still a 6-point deficit for the Cardinals as Bricky Petrenko comes on to serve.
I think a lot of it we've talked about is just finding that rhythm and cleaning things up. Look at this hustle from Georgia Tech here.
Here's Cressy. Monyong just extended out a hand to try and save that ball. Suarez, too. Maximum effort from her But it's a point to Kara Cressy, and Louisville starting to build that momentum behind them once again.
And Louisville needs to build this momentum, and they need to just clean up their play. A lot of this deficit has been credit to Georgia Tech's hustle and taking care of business, but a lot of them have been on Louisville errors.
Chant of Let's Go Tech battling with a chant of Cards. Been a very vocal crowd. An overpass. Mogridge, though, can't find it. Hit it right out of play. And Louisville has cut that Georgia Tech lead to 4. And Michelle Collier, seeing the set start to go back to the other end of the court, calls timeout.
And we've talked about the battles in the ACC this
off the top, Louisville does have a sliver of a chance to try and retain their conference championship. They would need Pitt and Florida State to lose their remaining matches. That's 2 matches for Pitt. Notably, they have Syracuse to finish up their season, and Pitt would be a huge favorite in that one. But for Louisville, they have to take care of business today if they want to have an opportunity at that championship. And right now in this 4th set, Georgia Tech has been in control from pretty much the start, but right now Louisville creeping their way back in. A 4-0 run for the Cardinals. They would need another 4-0 run to erase the deficit completely.
My last comment on the ACC is that I want to see an ACC tournament. Games like this down the stretch, putting Florida State in this mix, games like we saw last Saturday between Louisville and Pitt, and possibly the game that we're going to see against Miami and Pitt tonight, with Miami having a chance to battle. Those are the things we want to see in a conference tournament.
There's Charity Looper to add to the run for Louisville and cut the deficit to 3.
Fantastic effort, and Louisville able to finally capitalize on an off-system ball with a great second contact from Elena Scott across the court.
On the point of an ACC tournament, so much familiarity between these teams that see each other multiple times results in budding rivalries like we have here today. And a match of high emotions. Otene back scoring for Georgia Tech. She's been quiet this set. It's easy to be quiet when you had nearly 10 kills in the first set. Looper scores off the block. Just hammered that ball into the hands of Magnon.
And Louisville's doing some of this intentionally. They're trying to get that ball tight and allow their outside hitters to work in and off of the block.
And Charity Looper nearing another double-double. Rodolino sent back. Magnon with the right hand goes right through the 2 Louisville blockers. And it goes down, last touch by Cressy, out of play for a Magnon kill.
And credit to Suarez, she's been so composed. The set before that was not a great ball out to Bertolino, and she delivers just a perfect ball in rhythm back to Magnon.
Magnon continuing to be efficient. Hasn't had the most swings today, but has taken every opportunity she's been granted. Another point to the Yellow Jackets here to see off that Louisville run that the Cardinals were building point by point. Listen to the noise of this crowd. They know what's at stake. And look at the effort from Otene. Bertolino. Georgia Tech claims it was touched. Coach Collier is going to pull out the green card very quickly once again. Her entire team on the floor turned to her and begged for the challenge, and she obliged.
And again, I think this is a great challenge by Georgia Tech. They won the last one, so they have another challenge available. And if it does go 5, they get another challenge in the 5th set. So I think it's great timing and the emotion from her team on that play. They wanted this touch. And we see them able to take a quality swing. This ball came basically from the end line to Bertolino, but she's able to stay behind this ball. She's going for a high hands shot here, but she's able to stay behind and take a good swing.
The ball had a trajectory that likely was going out of play.
That was definitely her goal of the swing, was for that ball to land out of play after it touched hands.
And this may be the look. Seems so often when we have these moments where you're looking at a finger or two to bend back. And it's hard to see there whether Kara Cressy's fingers did that.
Yeah, the blur looks like it goes through her hand, but it doesn't look like there's any finger movement there. So how do you judge that as the official?
But again, a very important moment in this match. If Louisville could come back in this set, they could end it here.
And I think the credit here too, or the momentum here too, goes to Louisville in this play for working to put Georgia Tech out of system. And then Georgia Tech has not allowed themselves to be out of system much this match and still finding a great swing here. So whichever team wins this, I think it's a big momentum and effort point for either side.
You hear the fans. It's a long break, a long review, understandably so, but they are not going to let the energy leave the building. This has been a phenomenal crowd. They've waited a while to have a matchup like this in this building this year. We await the call. It will remain a Louisville point. The call stands. And a shake of the head from Michelle Collier. You mentioned the competitive nature that she possesses, clearly on display here.
I think part of that too, though, is, again, they did the right thing. Bertolino took the right swing, and she knows, we talked about when these coaches have gotten fired up, it's been for valid reasons. Whether it be that the official didn't make the right call or not, it's also about the turning point in the game.
Reese Robbins into the game, had a piece of it. Bertolino off the hands of either Robbins or PK.
Returning to the floor for the Cardinals. Number 13, Kara Cressy. Number 19, Elena Scott.
And Louisville sticking with the double sub here. Petrenko running the offense right now, and Robbins staying in as a blocker and an offensive weapon on the right side.
D'Amico on to serve. Here is Reese Robbins, the true freshman. And she comes through with a kill in a key moment for her team. She has been counted on in important moments all season long and has her 42nd kill right now.
And it's interesting because there might be an argument not to set her in that moment as she just came in off the bench, but her and Briggy Petrenko have a great connection because those two are almost always on the court together.
Georgia Tech by 4. Looper couldn't keep it alive. Great effort from Charity Looper, but the ball ricocheted off of her hands and out of play. And you start to feel that Georgia Tech has a 5th set in store for us this evening. An ace, the first of the evening for Bianca Bertolino, after she had 7 in the first meeting between Georgia Tech and Louisville. No such luck here. Louisville goes to Iko Jones. And Georgia Tech goes to Otene. And it's a point to Louisville on a hitting error.
And that's one Otene wants back. She hasn't had a lot of errors tonight, but behind the serve of Bertolino, I think it was extra important there to make sure Louisville had to earn that point.
8th error on 59 swings for Tamara Otene, who does have a season-high 24 kills. Her career high set at Illinois State is 27, but she's on the wrong end of this play. An ace for Louisville, and one that Otene will want to forget. It's a 4-point lead for the Jackets. Look at the pancake effort from Bertolino, but to no avail. Another point to Louisville. It's a 3-point deficit for the Cardinals.
And you mentioned earlier that Louisville doesn't rank high in the ACC in blocking, but it is something that they really pride themselves on. We talked about both of these defenses being really strong, and Louisville says that their defense starts behind their block.
Here's Anna DeBeer, and that was out. About a foot past the line. No arguments from DeBeer or anybody in Louisville colors, and it's a point to Georgia Tech to end that 3-0 Louisville run. Here's Charity Looper. Not had the strongest evening, but she has come through in key moments. Here's another one.
Credit to Elena Scott's serve receive that allowed that Louisville offense to be in rhythm after the first serve receive contact.
And despite a sub-100 hitting percentage, Looper, the third Cardinal with 10 or more kills. And as you see there, confirmation, her second straight double-double. Here's Otene, and there's a block that will bring the fans to their feet. Kara Cressy denies Georgia Tech and pulls Louisville to within 2.
And another out-of-system ball. Otene takes a big swing, but Cressy is able to drop her hands and push back to the middle of the court. You saw the side spin on the ball coming out of the block.
Louisville trailed by as many as 8. They had the first point of the set of memory serves, and since then, Georgia Tech has had the lead. Just 2 points away are the Cardinals. Make it 3 on the swing from Mendez.
Mendez again, not flashy, but steady from that right side tonight. Georgia Tech in one of their strongest rotations with Otene and Manyang in the front row.
As you see, D'Amico and Mendez head to the bench. It'll be Suarez to serve. And it's an error. Just when you think Louisville is out of the set, they pull themselves right back in. This time, to be fair, it's on a service error from Georgia Tech. 15 combined on the evening.
Louisville going back to the double sub with Briggy Petrenko and Reese Robbins.
Here's Briggy Petrenko. It's Otene. Well dug by Elena Scott. Charity Looper. Otene hitting the floor. Pimentel just has to hit it over. Here's Kara Cressy. And then Otene did not react. Pimentel got a piece of it. And then everyone in blue stood around and watched the ball. And it results in a Louisville point. They've pulled it to within 1, and Georgia Tech takes a timeout.
The hesitation here is Otene and Bertolino are the 2 hitters here. After we'll see this dig here. Off this swing. One more. We got lots of digs in this play. Off the Cressy swing here.
It's been that way all night.
Hand on it. And then Otene and Bertolino are the 2 people that would take a swing on that third ball. And Georgia Tech has done a great job of getting a swing on the third ball, and the way they do that is they transition early. But since they both transitioned, that left for no second ball.
Georgia Tech won the first meeting between these two sides back on November 3rd in Atlanta, a 3-1 win. They've never come to Louisville and beaten the Cardinals in a series that is relatively young, and Louisville has never lost back-to-back matches to this Yellow Jackets program in a single season. On top of all that, the NCAA tournament looms large in about a week and a half, and on Sunday, these two sides will find out where they are seated in the field. And a victory today for either side would likely do a lot. Georgia Tech hoping to host the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Louisville likewise hoping to host not just the first 2 rounds, but the 3rd and 4th rounds of the tournament. And with all of that at stake, these fans at Allen Arena have been at their very best today.
And at a minimum, Georgia Tech has proven they are not a team anyone wants to see early in the tournament.
It's the Jackets by 1, but Louisville with momentum right now. Manyong and Looper. And Otene. Tamara Otene restores the 2-point lead for Georgia Tech, her 25th kill.
This ball's in the air a long time. Robbins is just a little bit early. You can see her on her way down just by a hair of a second as she contacts that block.
Looper. Pimentel, the dig out of play. It's a Looper kill. Back to 1.
Pimentel is getting a hand on everything in the back row right now.
And important to point out, in the dying stages of this 4th set, no timeouts for either team. And Georgia Tech without a challenge either. Louisville still with 1 in their pocket. No challenge needed here. Manyong strikes for the Yellow Jackets to pull them within 2 of winning the set.
Interesting play here, running Manyong inside. We've seen her mostly operating out at the pin, but Suarez brought her to her and was able to finish.
And Louisville reply. They will try through De Beer. Here's Bertolino sent back by Robbins. Otene has to get it over. Looper to the floor. Cressy denied. Now Reese Robbins scores for the Cardinals. What a set. And what a moment for the true freshman to come into this match and make an impact.
And fantastic defense and coverage of your hitters on both sides of the court. Possibly controversial, could have been lift calls, but we had 1 on each side. I say let them play.
Here's Aiden Bartlett playing in her final game in L&N Arena. Bertolino. Here's Robbins again! Reese Robbins ties it at 23.
I don't know if that's the set I would have chosen with Anna De Beer front row, but we talked about Petrenko and Robbins living and dying with each other.
Mansfield, Texas is standing tall right now in Louisville, Kentucky.
Look for the Yellow Jackets to go to Manyong on the right side out of this serve receive.
It's an overpass, and De Beer gives Louisville the lead. They're a point away from winning this match, somewhat improbably. Their first lead since the early stages of this set.
And this shows the grit of the Louisville team. This set was ugly at the beginning, but it was self-inflicted. Louisville was making errors. They were able to gather their composure and come back.
It'll be Bartlett to serve. Can Louisville win it right now? Bertolino says not yet. Bartlett with good effort defensively, but it's a kill for Bianca Bertolino to tie it at 24, and we will continue on.
This set deserves extra points.
Taking on for the Cardinals, number 13, Kara Cressy, number 19, Elena Scott.
If this set was dessert, I think we're heading back for another slice of pie. And an important note there that you've got to win by 2 if you weren't aware. So we've got a couple more points yet to come. DeBeer trying to score for Louisville. It's Bertolino for Georgia Tech. Blocked by Reese Robbins.
This is what the postseason is about. This is why you need an ACC tournament. This type of match is where heroes are made.
And some shocked looks on the bench for Louisville. But it is going to remain a Louisville point, and the Cardinals are a point away as Ellie Glock will retreat to serve. What a match. What an evening of ACC volleyball. 2 of the best in this league. Locking horns. Can Bertolino keep Georgia Tech alive? Not yet. It's her call again, and she scores again. Bertolino's 12th kill, the second player in double figures for the Yellow Jackets, and we're all even at 25.
And Otenay's back in the front row for Georgia Tech.
And Bertolino with that lethal serve, but it bites her here. A service error restores the advantage and the match point to Louisville. And it's Anna DeBeer. She's got 3 aces. Couldn't find a 4th, but Pimentel just has to send it over. Here's a real chance for Louisville. It's Robbins sent back. The block from Georgia Tech denies the freshman her crowning moment. And a matter of fact, it was Aiko Jones, I beg your pardon, denies the senior her crowning moment on her final game in this arena. And we're tied at 26.
Ball was just a little low for Jones, and Otenay, phenomenal job of reaching into the hole.
Louisville goes to Looper. Otenay, what a heads-up play to give Georgia Tech the lead. Her 26th kill.
That's a great ball from Otenay, and it wasn't necessarily clean, but because it's first contact coming off the block, it doesn't have to be.
Georgia Tech trying to extend this match to a 5th set. Can they do it here? Here's Aiko Jones. Otenay. Looper. Scores to tie it again.
Bertolino's effort on that ball, her face as she's completely sprawled out across the court, shows the importance of this set and the intensity right now in this match.
This set and this match, they have delivered. This crowd at L&N Federal Credit Union Arena, so loyal to this Louisville program. They've had to see a lot of the big games on the schedule played at the KFC Yum Center. And I think the fans here appreciate the intimate nature of this arena. It's a point to Louisville, match point to the Cardinals again. Everyone, and I mean everyone, maybe aside from you and me, Steph.
We might be next.
On their feet, including some ex-Louisville players in the crowd, cheering on their former teammates. Here's Elena Scott. Louisville a point away, and they have it. It's a come-from-behind set victory and a come-from-behind match victory for the Louisville Cardinals against number 12 Georgia Tech, sending this crowd